7 minutes after the top of the hour here on the Wall to Wall Country Show with me, Casey, and we have a very special guest in the studios right now. We're always glad to have our country artists in the studios. And this time, this is a local guy that is here. So excited when you can actually see these. If you guys haven't done so yet, you need to turn on the PPR live stream. You'll be able to see everything that's going to go on in the next hour here on the Wall to Wall Country Show, broadcasting live from the Lehigh Valley Health Network studios. We have a guy in here. He's a singer-songwriter from Northeast PA. Woohoo! And brought his guitar along. He's going to do a tune or two for us right here. We're also going to play some of his other music, find out how this guy got into bluegrass country music here in the state of PA. Very excited about that. And I am welcoming to the show right now Mr. Adam Nulton. Is it Nulton?
It's Nulton. Yes.
Nulton. Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. So excited to have you in the studios today. And, you know, it's always nice when we can have the guest live in the studio. I do a lot of these interviews all the time, and over the phone is nice, but, you know, kind of getting that one-on-one connection and letting people realize that country music is worldwide. It's really, really worldwide. Music is worldwide. And we have some people who've been from here in the state of Pennsylvania or locally New Jersey, New York, and it's nice to actually make that connection instead of thinking everybody was just born and raised in Nashville.
Right, right, exactly.
Because they're not, they're not. There's definitely, not that going on. But let's start actually a little bit about your history and how you got to where you're at. I mean, give us a little background information on how Adam got to where you are today so people can help relate to you here in your home state of Pennsylvania.
Well, I was born and raised in Knoxon, Pennsylvania. And growing up, my grandparents and my parents themselves, they listened to a lot of Travis Tritt, Hank Williams, John Denver. So that's pretty much my roots, is listening to a lot of the old country artists, Dwight Yoakam, Alan Jackson. There are a lot of influences growing up. And one of my favorites was always Alabama. So I kind of, as I got older, I was like 12. I picked up the guitar, started taking some lessons. And I was taking lessons over in Tunkhannock, actually.
Oh, okay.
And,
wow, I know where that is.
Yeah, and I was taking them for like $1 an hour off this. He was a preacher. He was trying to just keep I guess he was trying to keep a church open. He was trying to just give lessons and give back. And, the lessons went for a few months, and then I started taking lessons at Back Mountain Music. And after that, I just started writing and listening to different genres of music, and I kind of fell in love at that point with 80s music. Mm-hmm. Bon Jovi was a big inspiration, Poison, along those lines. Mm-hmm. And after that, I think I probably had a 10-year stretch. I listened to a lot of metal music. And then some death metal even came into play. And then, I kind of didn't really listen to a lot of country, just kind of Garth Brooks here and there. But when I was in my 30s, I was online. I'm like, I really want to go to a country concert because I haven't been to one since I was probably 12 years old. It's been a long time.
Okay.
And so I ended up calling up a buddy of mine, and he was just strictly into heavy music. And I said, hey, Brad Paisley's playing up Montage. I said, Blake Shelton's opening up for him. How would you like to go? And he was
That's funny. Blake Shelton opening up for
completely against going. And I said, come on, there's going to be a lot of people there. It's a great crowd. So we went, and we both loved it. And I especially just fell in love with the whole scene, the music. I mean, it brought me back to who I truly was. And so at that point forward, I started playing more rootsy music and writing more acoustic songs. And geared my music towards country.
So who's your bigger influences? If you're going to say, you just covered a lot of genres.
I don't really have a huge influence. I kind of piece a lot of my music together with genres that I've experienced and played over the course of the years. Uh-huh. So I don't really like to categorize myself as anything in particularly. Country rock would fall under. But I listen to Kid Rock, Eric Church, Jason Aldean. So it's just a lot of experience throughout the years that probably, ended up, you could see the influences in my music.
Yeah. Now, I read you're a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
So Are you writing only your own music, or are you also performing other people's music? Are you doing some cover stuff, or are
No,
you
I strictly stick to my own material. Yep.
Okay. Is there plans to be certified as an Ascap writer or a BMI writer? Are you working towards that?
If that option is available, yeah, I mean, if that option arises, I'll consider it. I mean, that's how a lot of people get their foot in the door in this industry. And somebody comes up to me and says, hey, so-and-so likes this song, and they'd like to cut it, I would be more than happy to have them, take part in the song. Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, I think you might find surprise. I asked that question to a lot of singer-songwriters, and I've had people flat out say, no, they don't want to hand their music off. They just want to do their music. It's off their sleeve or off their cuff or off their shoulders. It's their work.
Right.
And I find it interesting sometimes. So there always is that strange feeling of sometimes I've been surprised by people going, nope, nobody's doing my music but me. So I think personally, I think it's better to have that as an option.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you want to be able to have the whole package.
Right, yeah. And I mean, there's great musicians like Chris Stapleton who got started like that, Thomas Rhett.
Yep.
Jamie Johnson, he was another one.
Phil Vesser writes a lot of music.
Yeah, Phil's another one. Yeah.
I mean, he does a lot of that too. And I think that's in today's world with all of the TV shows, not pointing fingers at any specific one, there's a star born every second.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a tough battle out there, especially in country, I think today, country and pop. I mean, that they have their own thing going on too. But I mean, if you've spent any time down at Nashville, there's an artist on every single corner doing the thing, got their guitar case open, playing their music. Some are really good, some aren't. There's some lost talents out there. I think some people get lost in the shuffle because of how tough it is. And these TV shows don't help. I mean, I don't want to get beat up, but I mean, they're putting a lot of people out there, and next thing you know, you've got thousands of people thinking that they're able to pick up a guitar and be a superstar.
Right. Yeah.
Be a superstar. So it's a tough gig. So I think one of the things that's important, and with a lot of my artists, you have to have more than one level of talent.
Yes.
You can't just be able to sing the phone book, because there's a lot of people who can do that. But if you can sing, you can write words, you can write music, you can put it together, you can make it sound good, you've got the look, you've got the persistence and all that kind of stuff. It's a long, hard road, but I think if you have more than just one level, you're going to find you're going to get somewhere a little bit quicker.
Right.
Do you believe that? Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to keep your options open. I mean, you can't be too stubborn about, I wrote this, I'm going to keep it, because, to get your music out there, you have to allow there to be access and exposure for your material.
Yeah.
And, and with the music today, there's so many different opportunities that are out there, depending on whether you want it in film, if you, want to just put it on local radio, or there's internet radio, which is huge now. I think that gives another element to the industry too, because your music's being expressed and being shared in avenues that you wouldn't necessarily ever have the opportunity to,
Yeah. On one level, it's a smaller world, because anybody can put their music out there on YouTube and all that kind of stuff and get that kind of exposure on one hand. But then it's also flooding it, because there is so many. You have to do something that you're going to stand out and people are going to take notice, and you're not a little kid who has a yodeling voice, or you're not, some little girl can, you know what I mean? When you're the mainstream kind of guy or girl that's out there, you got to be able to have that edge. You got to have what they call it, that it factor. You got to have something.
Yeah.
So are you pushing to do things down in Nashville, or are you still focusing on getting that base here?
I mean, when the album, my album is going to be released, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take out an ad down in Nashville in Music Row magazine.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm doing that was actually a suggestion made by Billy Davis, which is a backup vocalist for Alabama. He made a point that, it's a very tough industry. I suggest you getting a lot of CDs made, sell them out of the back of your trunk, and put ads, if you can afford it, in Music Row magazine, because that's basically, it gets distributed to all the AR reps, the record labels, and it gets it out there. So the more that they see that, it's like marketing, it's branding.
Well, sure.
They're going to say, who is this guy?
How come this name keeps popping up?
Yeah, make it look like I'm somebody, so I'm going to pretty much look like I'm important or something.
Make it big and beautiful.
Yeah. But so I'm just going to put that out down there. I'm going to continue to share my music, and we'll see what happens. I don't really have any particular avenue or any crowd that I'm trying to draw attention to. I just want to share my music and get it heard.
Okay.
And see what happens from
Well,
there.
let's talk a little bit about that music. 'Cause
Sure.
in a minute here, we're going to have to take a break, and I want to come back with one of those songs, and you're going to do something live for us, too, in a minute.
Sure.
But I want to get one of those out there so that people can kind of get more of a grasp of this music we're talking about. So tell us a little bit about this project that you have going on here with this music and this album that you have out there.
Well, Jokers and Thieves is the title of the album, and the songs have a lot of variety in those. There's a lot of rock, there's a lot of country, there's a little bit of hip hop in there, believe it or not, just a little taste of it. Okay. The genres are crossing over, so you have to accept that. And so basically a lot of the songs that I write about are, there's a story to tell. And I believe that in life we all have a story.
Right.
And if we don't tell them, then nobody's going to know what's behind it. And some of the songs are experiences I've been through. Some are just creative ideas that I piece together and just kind of make like a fun song out of it. The title basically came, I just believe that we live in a world where it's a little dark anymore, and there's a lot of people out there who are, even myself, we've all done some things that people feel like that were a joke, and people are thieves, and that's why I said, well, even with all this political stuff going on, there's a lot of jokers and thieves out in the mix. It goes right down to everybody who's alive.
Right.
You have to admit the fact that we've all either broke somebody's heart, stole something from somebody, whether it would be emotion or whatnot, and that's kind of how the title came out.
Now, how many songs are on it?
There's going to be 12 tracks.
12 tracks. And when is this going to be available?
In December. There's
Okay.
no tentative date yet. I just have to make a couple more tweaks to the album, and then it'll be finished.
Is this going to be a hard copy, or it's only
You can
electronic?
get it both. You'll be able to get it on all digital platforms, on
Okay.
Spotify, iTunes, anything online. And also, I'll have some copies myself. You'll be able to find it at Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound in Wilkes-Barre.
Okay.
And or if anybody wants to contact me directly, I'd be more than happy to make arrangements, make sure they get a copy.
Okay. Awesome. So it's 12 tracks. Every song is yours penned.
Yes.
Okay. Jokers and Thieves coming out in December. We have a couple of the tracks that we're going to feature here today. Why don't you tell us about one of the tracks, and then we're going to take a break and give people a listen to your sound, at least for one of the tunes here.
Sure. The first single that I released on there was Redneck Nightclub.
Okay.
Basically, growing up in Knoxon, we used to party in the fields, party in the woods, and
Everybody did that.
that's what I mean. So, being that I'm, 41 now, and that's not something that, that my life allows me to do, or necessarily do I really want to do anymore. It just makes everybody feel back at home again, and what they used to do. It brings back their roots.
Yeah.
And so everybody can, they can relate to it, because
Yeah.
at some point somebody has done it, and if they haven't, then I suggest you go and do it.
Yeah.
At least once. But yeah, so Redneck Nightclub is just basically having a good time, getting together with a bunch of friends, going out in the field, drinking, making a big bonfire, and just enjoying some good quality times.
Just kind of let the world go away. For
Yeah,
a little bit.
I didn't hang out, at the clubs. I hung out in the woods.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to.
Oh, and I think that's important. I think those kinds of songs are important to give people, even if it's 3.5 minutes or whatever it is, just a time to remember something fun.
Yeah.
And not be so, again, stuck on today's problems and societies and the bombings and all the politics and all that crap. And if they can just listen to a song that'll put a smile on their face and maybe remember a funner time when they were younger, and I think one of the things, and this is something that's all the time, is music is messages, and it's healing, and it's time travel and all that stuff. And it's nice when you can be able to throw out a tune there that people can just have fun with it.
Right.
It may not mean anything in particular. It might not be this massive message to the world, but it's just like kick back, relax, and just have a good time with some friends and beer.
Right.
Or soda.
Right.
It depends.
As long as there's beer or alcohol involved,
Yeah,
then it's a
well,
country song.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. I'm assuming you can hang out for just a little bit longer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to.
All right. We're speaking with Adam Nulton from. Where exactly are you hailing from now here in Northeast?
Tamaqua.
Are you? Tamaqua. That parade was just last night, wasn't it?
I believe so. The Halloween parade.
Halloween parade
Yeah.
was just last night. What, you didn't see it? You didn't go to watch it? I didn't either. Anyway, so from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, we're going to be back with Adam in just a minute, but we're going to pull one of the songs. Now, are any of these songs available yet?
Yes, Redneck Nightclub is available on Spotify and iTunes.
So if they like it, they can get their hands on it.
Yep.
Okay, but there's more songs coming off of this album. Jokers and Thieves will be out in December. We're going to give a listen. Redneck Nightclub coming up in just a minute, right here on Penn Speak Radio and the Wall to Wall Country Show with me, Casey, and Adam. Now, back there, we heard a great song from Adam Nulton, and it's a little something called Redneck Nightclub. And you're right, it's upbeat, peppy. It's a great summer song.
Yes,
it's a great summer
absolutely.
song, a great summer anthem song. And I like the way you did it and stuff. You said Jokers and Thieves has a variety of music, and we were talking a little bit about the crossover. And I think that's one of the biggest topics right now is the fact that everybody from Cyndi Lauper to Steven Tyler to Justin Timberlake, they're all kind of, I always call it, they're kind of dipping their toe in the country pond, a little bit here and there. They may not stay for a while, but they try it out and whatever. And I just kind of think, like you were saying, the genres are just, there's no defined line anymore. There's a big difference between traditional old country, Western country, to all the way up to what some of the country artists are doing today. But now this pool is huge, and kind of when you tip that toe in there, it creates all those rings. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of those genres is those rings are starting to intermix with each other.
Right.
So what do you consider your genre?
It's a country rock.
It's a country rock.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I had a guy on about a month or so ago, and he did country, and I spoke to him, and I was like, well, what do you call your genre? And he called it industrial country.
Well, that's interesting.
Because of some of the ways he was doing some of the music, he was using industrial items, like a dumpster. As a drum and stuff, but it was kind of country, sort of. It just had this very powerful, dark kind of country. Yeah, he called it industrial country. So it's amazing all the newer types of interesting crossover music that's all going on anymore, and how it's kind of mixing in there. So it's pretty awesome. So tell us on your website. Are you planning on doing some videos, professionally done videos for some of your music, or have you done that? Tell us about some of the directions you think some of these songs are going to go to get them that extra exposure.
Back in July, we started shooting for Redneck Nightclub, and we ended up having the property of Mountain Sky. We went up there and we videotaped part of it, and then there's no tentative date when it's going to be released right yet. We still have some things. We were going to do one more shoot, but now that the weather's changing, that may it's changing so fast. It changed right overnight, right?
Yeah.
We may just end up editing a lot of the material that we already shot footage of and just release the video. Okay. So right now, within I would say a month or two, we're going to have a video out for Redneck Nightclub.
Okay. All right. And so you're in it, or are you not in it?
I'm in it.
Okay. All right. Sometimes people aren't.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting on how they, is it a story kind of thing, or is it more just you singing with some background?
It's a group of people that actually are in the back of truck beds around a huge bonfire. Yeah. Nice. Yep. Everybody's I can't even talk. Partying. And there's ATVs, motorcycles there.
Cool.
And so it kind of gives you that element of being right there at the party.
Right. In the middle of the summertime where they can wear shorts and T-shirts, not parkas and hats and gloves.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of where we are at. I don't know what happened to fall. It disappeared. Are you out doing some performing? Are you getting
not
out?
Currently, no.
Okay.
Nope, not at the moment. I mean, hopefully in the near future, I would like to, put a show together. I'm not really sure where it's going to be at right now. It depends on how the album sales go and, how many people are receptive to the music. I would like to honestly put something together and have it maybe at like the Kirby Center if I can, because I don't really play a lot. So I figured if I can get a lot of, people that like the music and I can traffic that, maybe I can hold a show at the Kirby and put on a big performance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a lot of other intimate venues around too. I mean, the Mock Chunk Theater up in Stroudsburg. There's one down in Easton that, again, you're getting, Mock Chunk Theater has 400 seats.
Right.
It's 400 more people who, might be able to.
I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, the Jim Thorpe Opera House does that kind of stuff all the time. Okay. They have a wide variety and a wide range of different talents that go on down there. Same with the State Theater up in Stroudsburg. or
Okay.
the Sherwood.
Sherman.
Sherwin. The Steets in East End, the Sherwin's up there. But they all do the same thing. They all have those nice nights sometimes where, they're looking for somebody on a Friday or Saturday night that you can draw 400 or 500 people and hand out CDs and start that, get that bass going. Sound Check Records.
Sound Check Records? Okay.
Trooper. Talk to him. Because I've had a couple other local artists in, and he sometimes will put your CDs in down there for you. I just want to say it before I forget it. That's, some of the ways that you can get it out there. Tell us a little bit more about this music. You mentioned you'd play one song for us live in the studios?
Sure, yeah.
We want to tell us a little bit about something you want to play?
Yeah, the song that is, the title's called Rosie Jack. It stemmed basically, I was sitting in the kitchen with my children, and my daughter picked up her Hello Kitty guitar, and she just starts playing, and she's going, Rosie Jack, and I looked over at her, I said, who's Rosie Jack? And she says, I don't know. I said, he sounds like an outlaw to me, So I said, hold on a second.
Maybe it was her cat or something.
I don't know. I said, so hold that thought. So I went in and got my guitar, and I just started strumming a few chords, and I said, Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. Mm-hmm. And so I just started coming up with some lyrics. So that's how the Rosie Jack became started.
That's country.
Yeah.
Some guy robbing a train.
Yeah.
That's about as country as it gets, next to it running over your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no tractors in this song, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll let you slide. All right. Well, good. Why don't you just go right ahead and give it a shot, and we'll listen to Rosie Jack.
Okay.
That was written by your daughter.
Into town before high noon, a dust trail follows behind. Strolled into the Silver Spur Saloon, sat down and ordered moonshine. Folks looked at him like he was crazy, never seen him before. Strolled around, turned down his hat, and the jaws dropped to the floor. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. Let's ride. Young man approached him with bloodshot eyes. I know who you are. Once killed a man with your bare hands in the back of a boxcar. Son, I think you drink too much. Don't believe every word you hear. Those are stories told by men and women who live in fear. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. And they could see him coming from miles riding into town. With his worn out boots and torn up chaps, his Colt 45 never let him down. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. He is Rosie Jack, robbed the 5 Mile train. In the stagecoach traveled the plains. He held up the Bandera Bank. Let's ride.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Good job. Wow, I liked it. And it was pretty simple. I was watching you play. I was like, wow, I play a little myself. And I was like, oh, that's a D, a G,
Yeah, you don't have
and
to
an
get
E
too
minor.
complicated in the country music.
No, you
Keep it
don't.
simple.
3-chord songs every time, pretty much.
The hits.
But no, I liked it. I really did. I mean, and that's just, see, I'm not the writer. That's my problem. It's like you just come up with those lyrics, and sometimes these guys can just do it right off the top of their head. And I find that just so amazing. It's like, I don't even know. Is any of that stuff real?
No.
Of course not. Of course
no,
not.
absolutely not.
But it's awesome.
I just had a fascination when I was younger, with trains and outlaws and bandits and, a lot of Western movies. So I kind of put all that together and Rosie Jack came about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to add your daughter on that one, too.
I know. Give her all the credibility.
Give her a little bit. Yeah, man. Awesome. So, and is that one going to be out there?
That'll be on the album as well.
Oh, that's on one of the 12?
Yeah, it'll be on there.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that one you should do with a video and have your daughter be Rosie Jack. Dress her up, put her on a train. You could go down to Jim Thorpe.
We could, yeah. It's not too far.
Yeah, you could put her down there on a train somewhere and just have her wave as the train's pulling out. That'd be funny. Nice stuff. Good stuff. So this is your first official album.
Yes.
And I know you're still working, but you have pretty much the songs all 12.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting it all together and getting it done. Mm-hmm. Independent artist, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good stuff. So I know you said you were working on the video for the Redneck Nightclub song. What's your plans for, say, the end of 2018 or maybe early 19? Are you planning on getting out there a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd like to open up for some of the artists that are actually currently playing, that are out there in a lot of the, the clubs and bars and stuff like that. I have a lot of friends that are in the music industry, and so I've kept close ties with them, and I'd like to do a couple, songs and open up for them.
Okay. You're working something out there?
Yeah.
You're still doing solo? You got a band? You're working on putting somebody together?
I don't necessarily have a band.
Okay.
I do have a group of guys that are my cousins, my main guitarist. I do have a drummer that obviously is with us as well. A lot of the instruments that you hear on the album are played by various artists, so there's no particular band.
Right, okay.
But
it's an in-house band.
Yeah, in-house band. It's
nice.
Hired guns.
Oh, that works, man. Yeah. If they know what they're, and that's the thing. It's like if you can communicate with them enough to get them to do the sound you're looking for.
Right.
Then that's.
Well, a lot of this album was trial and error because I really didn't know what I was going to be getting involved with when I started to record. I just hey, it's about time I start working on an album. So I started working on the album, and every time you contribute and put something new to the song, it becomes a different song.
Okay.
And then it started to get a little frustrating because I'm like, wow, what am I going to do with this now? Like, we're going to add this. Okay, well, that doesn't sound right. So we'll take that out of there. And so it's been a lot of trial and error and testing certain instruments with songs, applying vocals in certain places, taking them out. So I want to make sure that they're structured, and when the project's done, it's near perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
and you can't rush this kind of stuff.
No, you can't at all.
You know what I mean? And like you just said, you change it. You got it in your head as one way. And you're used to hearing it in your head the way you want to hear it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden somebody throws a fiddle in there and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Then you either have to go, yeah, that adds to it, or no, that's kind of taken away from where I'm trying to go. So, and here's another part of your layer is that you're the one that's doing this stuff. It's a learning process for you, which is great because you're not just throwing your music out there and letting somebody else do it.
Right.
You're the one who's sitting there making the decisions for it, and it's a learning process for you. So again, that's another one of those things. Hey, have you produced your own music? Have you put it together? Did you pick, instrument? You can sit there and go, yep, check that one off the resume box. Because you're the one who's doing all the work. And again, it's just another one of those things where if you're going to go through the process, it's learning, as you do more or you get more involved with other people, somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to do this. How do I do it? You're going to be like, I know exactly what you need to do.
Right. Yeah.
And again, it's just adding to the layer of, not just the voice or the cute looks or whatever it is that person has. You've got a few more things on your belt that's going to work in your favor. Because that's what they look for.
Right.
They just, and I think what you're doing, and if you could stay an independent label as much as possible, you're going to continue to have that affordability. And that's, I think, the other challenge with a lot of artists is once they get signed to a label, everybody wants to be signed to a label because that's where the money is. But all of a sudden, I've heard it a million times, they lose their identity. They lose their sound. They lose what they're going for. All of a sudden, you got to fit this cookie cut kind of thing that these labels are looking for to be able to promote you and stuff. And it's tough. And you're going to see a lot of the bigger artists are creating their own labels because they want their own creativity back.
Right.
You know, and or those that have held the course may not have been as big a hits, even though they're excellent artists, but they wanted to stick to their guns as far as being independent artists.
Right.
And I always applaud those kind of people. They traded the money for their talent sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's important too, is not to be molded into something that you're not.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's a tough journey financially wise, so I can respect that as well. Why don't we throw another one of your tunes out here off your album to give people a little bit of a sound, and then we'll talk a little bit more about connectivity.
Okay.
When we come back after the next break, and then we'll let you get out of here because I'm sure you're busy. But what's another song off your album here that you would like to feature?
We could do 883. That was the second release that was on the album.
Okay.
883, basically, I used to ride a motorcycle, Harley Davidson, that was an 883. So I used to get together with a group of guys, and we'd get together Sunday mornings and just, hit a couple spots, and we just enjoy Pennsylvania scenery.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, getting together with a group of guys and just taking your bike out for a ride.
Is that what kind of bike?
A Harley Davidson.
A Harley.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course, it's a Harley. I wasn't sure. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I don't know what 883 means, but I'm sure I'll find out. So that's awesome. Again, it's another one of those things that a lot of people can connect to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even if you don't have a Harley or whatever, but just again, I like, it seems like the down to earthness of your music, where the roots are coming from. You're connecting to people of all ages across the board who can look at that or listen to it and kind of have it tell their story.
Right.
Have you put these songs? You're putting these songs out there?
883 and Redneck Nightclub are now on Spotify and iTunes.
Are you getting response from people who've been getting it, or it's still fairly new?
Oh, no, I've gotten responses. I mean, even with Redneck Nightclub, when I first released it, I ended up putting it on the internet radio stations.
Okay.
And I had a lot of good feedback. And it was nice because they have a chat room where a lot of people, they're sitting there listening to your music. And I gained a lot of fans that way, which helped me, get to Nashville because of certain outlets that I wasn't aware about with, like, contests and award shows and stuff like that.
Are you planning on shifting and moving down? No. Staying here?
No, it's infested with musicians.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is that I think it's better to make relationships, important relationships down there, which I met a lot of great people when I went down and recorded 4 of my tracks in Nashville. And I think, it's nice to have close counters with them because then I can go down every few months and, get to step foot in different places and see what's going to be most beneficial for myself.
Right.
Because you start going, you live down there, these people want to play every bar on the corner, every place in Music Row. Well, so does everybody else.
Yep.
And, although, there's maybe 800 people playing that night, everybody's looking for a record deal. Well, the chances are that one guy probably is not going to be sitting in there.
Yeah.
He might be somewhere else in a bar outside of Music Row because he doesn't want to be downtown.
Yeah. Because they're all going to know who he is.
Right.
He wants to go somewhere where you have no idea who's in the audience.
Yeah.
Because he wants to hear you raw, not performing for him. You know what I mean? So good. You're smart. You're being smart. Business smart is always.
I'm trying.
It's always a good thing too. I mean, and that's a whole nother level again, is being business smart.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the music industry is business, and you have to know how to market yourself. You have to know the business side of it, and I'm just taking one step at a time. I'm not expecting anything to come out of it. If it does, great. I'm just doing what I enjoy doing, is sharing what I love
music.
to write.
Awesome, perfect. Having that business end is also smart move. Even if you were going to work with, say, a label or a production company, always keep your fingers into the business end too. Always kind of say, I want to know what's going on, because again, they're going to run with it. And whether I think that's another part of the challenge, is people get lost in that because they just hand their lives over to someone.
Well, they sell them the world, and they find out that secondhand they're not given what they were promised.
Yeah,
and
Yeah, it's kind of like insurance. They take the money and run.
Right.
Sorry, did I say that out loud? Okay. So before I get in all kinds of trouble here, we're going to take another quick break. You can hang in for a few more minutes?
Absolutely, I'll be here.
Awesome.
I'm not going anywhere.
We're going to come back with another of Adam Nulton's song. Now, again, this is off Jokers and Thieves, which is not available yet. It's a 12-track album, CD, on the electric platforms across the board coming up in December. But this song is one that you can get on the Spotify, the Amazon Music, and all that kind of stuff. 2 songs that we're playing. So if you like this one, you can get this one as well and get your Alexa to play it, and or your Echo Dot or whatever. But we've got another song talking about motorcycle riding in the foothills of Pennsylvania on a beautiful fall day, and enjoy it. So we'll be back more with Adam in just a minute right here on the Wall to Wall Country Show with Casey. And there you go, and a little something from 883, one of the 12 songs on Jokers and Thieves from Adam Nulton. And, we were just talking about the whole independent artist thing. It's like there's a couple people out there who are starting to set a standard that independent artists can make it happen, and like you said, you're concentrating on, you still have a job to do that pays the bills. You still have a family to worry about. You still got to take care of some things. And with the world the way it is today, where you can get your music out, you can do your own video, put it out on YouTube and get that hit. And it might be a little slower. It might be, not quite as expensive and fancy, but I think the tables are turning. I really, really do. I think independent artists are really starting to make a difference.
Yeah. And I always use as an example, looking at a product. I mean, because that's what artists are. We're a product, and you have all these big artists that are out there right now. Those record companies are not getting rid of them.
No.
I mean, if you have Tide on the shelf, Charmin on the shelf, they sell like crazy. They're not coming down. There's no room and no more opportunity for people to basically get signed. Mm-hmm. You'll hear a few new artists once in a while, but it's very, very seldom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well, yeah, and that's the thing. And even when you do, it's almost like, the lack of a better word, a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. They're big for a short period of time, but they don't have the longevity. They don't have the sustainability. And most of the time it's because they got thrown into it. They burned it, and then it burned out.
Right.
And I think the people who come up through the ranks, the ones that are singer-songwriters, performers, businessmen underneath, those are the people who are making better decisions because they're taking the slow and steady path, but they're doing things the way they want to do it, and they're not getting shoved and going, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this, and they make $1 million, and all of a sudden they forget about you. Mm-hmm. Boom, done. You're out.
Right.
And I think that's what happens, unfortunately. And talented people get lost that way, mm-hmm. who are really good, but it's kind of keeping the reins on your own world, and I think that's a big part of it. And I really, there's a couple of big standing artists anymore that are getting out there and really making a difference, and they're independent artists, and they stood by their boots.
Yes.
Said they're going to continue to stay independent no matter what. And I'm telling you, people like Sirius Radio, Nashville, there's a bunch of those people who are starting to go, oh, this guy's really good. Where did he come from? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I've been here all along. You just haven't been paying attention to me, and now they are. People are starting to pay attention.
Right. I agree.
So, you just got to keep trucking at it. Connectivity. So I know you said you're not really doing a whole lot of performing out there, but what kind of connectivity can people get to you if they want to get to you, if they want to know more about your music, they want to know about the CD, they want to know what's going on with Adam? How do they do it?
I have a Facebook page. I have Instagram. They could always go on there and type my name in, Adam Nulton.
Mm-hmm.
I do have AdamNulton.com. Currently, there's not a lot of information on there at the moment, but we will be updating it shortly.
Okay.
It's a pretty new website.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's just going to be posted on my Facebook page and Instagram.
Got any wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the end of the year, early next year?
Nothing right now. I just want to get this album pretty much done and taken care of, and then once the album's out, then I'll figure out what my next step is. But pretty shortly, I'll start working on the second album just to get some of the rough tracks down and get some of the musicians in,
mm-hmm.
do their parts. So I'll be working on the new album when I'm finishing up the old one.
Okay.
Because it is a long, drawn-out process, so you have to start on it or it's never going to get finished.
Yeah, yeah. And it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. So I admire you for what you're doing, and I think it's awesome. And I'm glad you're a local boy and making it. And we'll play your music for you. We'll support you. You just keep sending me whatever you got, and we'll get it out there for you. So make sure you check this guy out. And again, you can find him on Facebook, AdamNulton.com, and just so you know, it's NULTON.com. That's one place. And for that, even if they go there, they can get your link for your Facebook and your Instagram on there. So they can find you that way and reach out and say, hey, we heard you, whatever. And if you happen to be going out somewhere, I'm sure you're going to post it if you are going to be playing someplace, whether it's somewhere local or whatever you're doing. So people can find you on Facebook and catch you and listen to your music. How many songs of the album are out?
Just the 2 right now.
Okay.
The 883 and Redneck Nightclub. They're the only ones that are currently available on, the digital platforms that are online. But you can go to ReverbNation.com.
Okay.
Reverb Nation, there's, I believe, 10 tracks that are on there currently, and you can give a listen to them so you know what to expect.
A little something.
Yeah.
Okay. And just for shits and giggles, just because you're a local guy, and I think if this helps, you actually have a business in Tamaqua, and that's what's part of paying for all of this for you to be able to do your dream too. Why don't you just go ahead?
Yeah, my business is located in Kingston.
Oh, okay.
I live in Tamaqua, but yeah, my business is Northeast Auto Glass. I've owned and operated it for the past 13 years.
We're going to be hitting you for some advertising now,
Certainly,
that, don't you?
not a problem at all.
Cody, did you hear that?
But yeah, without the business, I wouldn't be able to afford to put the album out and travel back and forth. So I am fortunate enough to be able to do that, and blessed that I have
something.
Yeah. But I mean, it's hard running your own business too, and making sure that it's successful.
Yeah. You just need to clean out the garage and host a party and sing every once in a while.
That's it.
Awesome. Northeast Auto Glass.
Northeast Auto Glass.
Nice. In Kingston.
Yes.
So if you guys need any help in that department, do us a big fave and head on over there and tell them you heard all about them from Penn Speak Radio. So artist and glass maker.
Yes.
Nice.
Not maker, glass installer.
Installer.
Yeah.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Okay. He can help you out with that too. I just figured we'd throw that out there for you as well. And it proves the point. It's like, you're not, you're being smart. You're doing what you need to do to be able to pursue this career, pursue a musical career, but you're not being stupid about it. You know, there are bills to pay. You got to pay for things. So awesome. Got another album coming out possibly next year.
Yeah, hopefully. I would say, well, I don't even know about next year. Again, it's really hard to determine it because this one I've been working on for 2 years now.
Okay.
So I make all posts up and keep everybody up to date. So good. I would hope maybe next year. We'll see.
All right.
If I'm lucky.
But they should be looking for Jokers and Thieves sometime in December. You can find this guy on Facebook and Instagram. Check him out. He's got a few things on his website. Adam Nulton. That's also where all the connections are. If you get that video done, that's going to be on there somewhere.
Yes,
You're going to be posting
YouTube,
information about that. And if you decide to do a quick show here or there, just check it out. All the links are right there for you. Local guy. And I'd like all of you to support him for sure. We got one more song. This whole thing gets recorded and played back on a Sunday.
Okay.
So I like to end the show in a couple of hours with another song from my artist, just to remind everybody if they missed the interview, they can listen in on Sunday as well. Like I said, there's a million ways you can get this. But you have another song you sent me, a little something called She?
She, yes.
Okay, why don't you tell me a little bit about that song? And that's the song I'll end my show with here in a couple of hours to remind people to listen in on Sunday to the interview. So tell us about it.
The song itself, basically, I wrote it for my girlfriend, Kara.
Okay.
And, it's
this one? Or
yes.
another one?
Good one. So basically the song, it's a heartfelt song. It's goes over pretty well with a lot of people, but everybody, I believe they have a guardian angel. And everybody says, I could have died that day, but my angel was looking out for me and stuff like that. But, the truth of the matter is you need somebody in your life who's going to feel safe, that you're going to be safe around, who's going to protect you. So that's kind of what the song is about.
Aw. Just so you guys don't know this, but both Adam's son and girlfriend are here in the studios with us. So that's what that was all about, just because they can't see any of that. They can't see it, and they're not mic'd either. They didn't want to talk, but they are here with you today, supporting you. So that's pretty awesome. So we'll play that song, She, coming up at the end of the show to remind everybody about this album they should be looking for in December. 12 tracks on this thing, Jokers and Thieves. Two of the songs that are already on it are 830, 883, and they can also get the song Redneck Nightclub. I had to look for a second. So those two are out on the social medias that they can get that.
Yes.
And looking forward to that song you also just played that your daughter wrote. That's awesome. I love it. Anything else you want to throw out there before we cut you loose, Adam?
I think that's pretty much it. Just to add that there is a female vocalist that is singing backup on She. She's
Okay.
from Nashville. Her name's Fiona Coley. If everybody wants to go online and check her out.
Okay. And they can find her information. She did the backup vocals with you?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. Well, that just about does it for this hour. We're going to check into the next hour, but we're going to say goodbye to Adam. Congratulations on everything you have going
Thank you
on
very
so
much.
far. Good luck in the future. Stay in touch with us. Let us know when you get some more stuff out. We'll be glad to have you back on the show. And you got big news. Just stay in touch with me. You know how to reach out to me. Check this guy out. Again, Adam Nulton. Nulton.com, Nulton. You can get to his Facebook page that way. His video when he gets it out there, connectivity is on there, his show information when he's out there and doing some stuff. And support this guy and go check out his glass fixing place. Northeast Glass.
Northeast Auto Glass.
Auto Glass. I forgot the word auto. So there you go, over there in Kingston, and check them out. But in the meantime, we got to take care of some business. We're going to be back with more great country music right here on the Wall to Wall Country Show, and more good stuff on the way right here on PPR.